The grand chamber of the Galactic Council floated among the stars, a ring of glass and light that shimmered above the planet Yaros. Representatives from 100 worlds sat in their silver seats, each glowing softly with the color of their homeworld. The air hummed with low voices, pride, and the soft pulse of alien technology. It was a place where every major decision in the galaxy was made. Today, all eyes were on the new species called humans. Most in the chamber had never met one before. They had only read the reports. Strange beings from a small blue planet far from the galactic core. Polite, social, patient, and always smiling. Many found them curious but harmless. Captain Elias Monroe stood alone in the center of the hall, calm and still. His uniform was simple, without decoration, and his face held no sign of fear. His eyes moved slowly from one counselor to another, as if he understood the weight of their judgment yet refused to be shaken by it. Ambassador Reinl of the Taric species opened the session. His voice was thin but full of self-importance. "Captain Monroe of Earth," he said, "we thank your people for joining the Council as observers. Your cooperation has been noted. However, there are concerns about human behavior near our borders. Some of our patrols say your fleets move too close to protected zones." Monroe nodded politely. "We thank you, Ambassador," he said. His voice was calm and steady. "We respect your space. Our ships only travel through approved routes. If there has been any misunderstanding, we will correct it," the Council murmured. The human was too calm, too polite. Some of them smirked, thinking he was weak. They had seen this before. Young species trying too hard to be accepted. For months, the Council had been testing humanity's patience. They imposed unfair trade taxes, delayed communication permissions, and even blocked human transport ships from using safe routes. Yet the humans never raised their voices. They always replied with kind words and offers to negotiate. The Draven, one of the smaller Council races, were especially bold. A few days ago, they sent warships to inspect a human research station near the Tau Eridani system. They claimed it was for security reasons, but everyone in the chamber knew it was a provocation. As the meeting continued, Monroe's wrist communicator flashed quietly. He glanced at it and his calm eyes narrowed slightly. Only for a second. No one noticed except the human delegation sitting at the far end of the room. They knew that look. Counselor Varath, a large-scaled creature from the core dominion, leaned forward with a mocking smile. "Captain," he said, "I trust your people will remain calm even now. Surely you humans wouldn't respond with aggression." A few council members chuckled. Others hid their smiles behind folded hands. Monroe looked up. His voice stayed soft. "Of course, Counselor. We are polite. Always." He walked to the center of the room and placed a small projection cube on the table. With a touch of his finger, a bright image filled the air. A live transmission from the Tau Eridani system. The entire council turned to look. There, in the projection, massive shadows were appearing against the stars. Dozens of ships, dark and sleek, sliding out of hyperspace one after another. Their formation was perfect, their movements quiet and exact. Every sensor reading glowed red. It was Earth's defense fleet, not a single warship by chance, but a coordinated armada. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Monroe didn't smile. "Those are our response vessels," he said softly. "We asked politely for our people to be released. We were ignored." Ambassador Reinl stood up quickly. "Captain Monroe! Are you threatening the Council?" Monroe shook his head. "Not at all, Ambassador. We are showing you that patience has limits. We have always tried to solve problems with words. But sometimes words are not enough." The council chamber grew silent. Even the hum of the floating lights seemed to fade. Every alien present could feel something cold and heavy forming in the air. Not anger, not rage, but something more frightening. Quiet determination. The Draven representative began to speak, stammering. "This is unnecessary. Your actions are—" Monroe raised one hand and the projection zoomed in on the human ships. They moved in complete silence, surrounding the Draven fleet near the station. Human rescue shuttles approached the damaged research base with precision, pulling survivors aboard. The Draven warships, confused and outnumbered, began to back away. "We told you we wanted peace," Monroe said, his tone still polite, almost gentle. "We said it again and again. We asked for cooperation. We waited for understanding. But you kept testing us." He paused, letting his words sink into the air. "Now you will see what happens when we stop waiting." Counselor Varath opened his mouth, but no sound came out. His scaled hands trembled slightly. He had fought in wars and seen many species rise and fall, but never one that changed from warmth to cold steel in a single breath. The feed showed the Draven fleet surrendering. No human ship fired a shot that wasn't necessary. They only disabled enemy engines and shields, rescuing both sides wounded. The discipline was absolute. Monroe turned back to the council. "You wanted to understand humanity," he said. "You are now seeing it. We don't start wars. We end threats. We don't seek power. We seek respect. And when peace is taken from us, we take it back quietly and completely." The Taric ambassador tried to maintain his dignity. "Captain, you are making a dangerous choice. This act will not be forgotten." Monroe's eyes met his. "I hope not. Because we never forget either." For a long time, no one spoke. The images continued to play. The human fleet securing the area, towing the damaged station back to safety, ensuring no unnecessary harm. Even their enemies were treated fairly. It was power shown without cruelty, strength without arrogance. When the projection finally faded, Monroe turned off the cube and stood silently. His expression softened again, and he folded his hands behind his back just as before. He looked almost peaceful, as if nothing had changed. Then he said quietly, "Our polite mode has ended. We have shown you our respect in every word. Now we ask for yours." The chamber stayed silent. The council members avoided his gaze. The arrogance that had filled the hall before was gone. Ambassador Reinl finally broke the silence. "Captain Monroe, the council will discuss this matter." Monroe nodded politely. "Take your time. Humans understand patience. We've had plenty of practice." With that, he picked up the small projection cube, turned, and walked calmly toward the exit. The sound of his boots echoed softly against the floor, the only noise in the vast chamber. Every alien eye followed him. No one dared to speak. When the door closed behind him, Reinl leaned back in his chair, his throat dry. He looked around at the silent council. "We may have underestimated them," he whispered. No one disagreed. Outside, among the stars, the human fleet waited silently in formation, engines humming like a heartbeat. They had not fired in rage, and they had not shouted in fury. They had simply acted, calm, precise, and unstoppable. Inside the council chamber, the memory of Monroe's quiet voice lingered like a cold wind. For the first time, the mighty council realized that beneath humanity's calm surface was something stronger than pride, something unshakable, unbreakable, and deeply human. From that moment, no one in the galaxy ever laughed at Earth's politeness again. The chamber of the Galactic Council remained heavy with silence after Captain Monroe left. Counselors from 100 worlds stared at one another, trying to measure what they had just seen. Words failed them. Reports had never captured the true patience and discipline of humans. But now every member of the council had witnessed it firsthand. Outside the chamber, the human fleet moved with quiet purpose. Their ships were enormous and sleek, reflecting distant starlight in patterns that seemed almost artistic. Every vessel carried precision, training, and power, yet nothing about their movement suggested anger. It was methodical, almost surgical. The Draven flagship tried to escape. Its weapon systems glowed red, engines firing at maximum speed. But the humans anticipated every move. Silent beams of energy disabled its engines without touching a single crew member. Rescue drones evacuated the wounded and repaired damage in seconds. The humans acted as if this was routine, a natural extension of their will. Counselor Varath, sitting in the chamber, could barely contain himself. "Impossible," he muttered, his voice trembling. "They are polite, yet unstoppable. How can a species be so precise?" Ambassador Reinl leaned forward, brow furrowed. "It is more than precision," he admitted quietly. "It is discipline, intelligence, and courage combined. They are not reckless. They calculate, they anticipate, and they act with purpose." Back at Tau Eridani, human shuttles lifted the last group of scientists from the damaged station. Captain Monroe's voice came over the comms. "All personnel are safe. No further escalation will be tolerated. Return to your home systems or face containment." Even the core Dominion ships, known for their violent approach to threats, observed in awe. They had fought in centuries of wars and witnessed countless species rise and fall. Yet no one could remember seeing a species that could be so calm, so polite, and so efficient at the same time. In the council chamber, Monroe's words echoed in every mind. Our polite mode has ended. We have shown you our respect in every word. Now we ask for yours. Councillor Varath's tail flicked nervously. If this is humanity, then our previous assumptions were wrong. Completely wrong. Ambassador Reinl tried to regain control of the meeting. We must discuss sanctions, fleets, alliances. This behavior cannot go unchecked. They cannot be allowed to dominate by... He paused, searching for words. By courtesy alone? The councillors laughed nervously, but the laughter was weak. Deep down, every species knew the humans were different. They were not the loud, proud, aggressive warriors the galaxy expected. They were something else entirely. Something efficient. Something patient. Something dangerous when provoked. Meanwhile, in orbit around Tau Eridani, the human fleet formed a protective perimeter. The damaged research station was stabilized. Scientists were unharmed. No life had been lost, and the aggressors had been neutralized without chaos or unnecessary force. It was a display of power the Council had never imagined. Calm, precise, and utterly effective. Captain Monroe returned to his bridge and surveyed the ships. He was still calm, still polite, still human. Send a transmission to the Council, he said. His voice carried no threat, yet it held authority. Explain that we did not act in anger. We acted because patience has limits. Respect is required, not optional. The transmission reached the Council chamber moments later. Holographic images of the humans' actions appeared before the alien delegates. The rescued scientists, the disabled weapons, the controlled precision of the human fleet. It all left no doubt. The message was clear. Humans were strong, intelligent, and patient, but not foolish. Councillor Varath whispered to a nearby delegate, "They have redefined strength, not through violence, but through control. Not through chaos, but through discipline. And they did it with kindness." Reinl, who had once doubted Earth's small fleets, nodded slowly. "Perhaps we have underestimated them for too long," he said quietly. "Perhaps we mistook politeness for weakness." The projection faded. The human fleet began its return to Earth, still silent, still calm. The councillor sat back, overwhelmed by the realization that this species, small and seemingly fragile, had become a force none could ignore. In the following days, reports poured into every corner of the galaxy. Other council races began reviewing their assumptions. The humans had acted without rage, without destruction, and without excessive force, yet they had demonstrated authority and strength no one could contest. Captain Monroe, back aboard Earth's flagship, reflected on the events. "We did not want conflict," he said to his crew. "We never do. But patience is not infinite. We give respect and we expect it in return. That is how humanity survives, how humanity thrives, and that is how humanity will continue to grow." His crew, a mix of humans from Earth and a few allied colonies, nodded. They had trained for this moment, though none truly expected it would come so suddenly. They had acted as one, calm and precise, like a single organism moving through the stars. The Galactic Council issued a formal statement days later, carefully worded to save face. It acknowledged humanity's capabilities, their discipline, and their patience. It warned all species that humans were no longer to be treated as a minor or polite species to test. The message was clear. Underestimate humanity at your own risk. Even among the most warlike races, the story spread. Kaldar warlords, Cernak generals, and other leaders spoke in quiet tones when the word human came up. They did not fear rage. They feared calm intelligence combined with patience, and the knowledge that humans would act decisively when pushed too far. In the council chamber, Ambassador Reinl finally addressed the delegates. "We have witnessed something remarkable. Humans are patient, polite, and disciplined, but we have also witnessed the moment when patience ends. Let us remember it, for this day will mark a turning point in galactic history." Outside, humanity continued its quiet growth. Their colonies expanded, trade routes flourished, and their fleets returned to normal operations. No one outside Earth's control suspected what had truly happened at Tau Eridani, only that humans were not to be underestimated. Captain Monroe looked out at the stars, silent and thoughtful. "We did not seek to scare them," he said. "We only wanted to be respected. But if respect cannot be given, it must be earned, and we have earned it today." From that day forward, humanity was no longer just the polite newcomers of the galaxy. They were a species that combined kindness with strength, patience with decisiveness and intelligence with authority. Other races began to treat them differently, with caution, respect, and curiosity. And in the quiet of the council chambers, one thing was clear: the day humanity's polite mode ended was not a day of destruction. It was a day of understanding, a day of realization, and a day that reminded every species in the galaxy that kindness should never be mistaken for weakness. Every story told afterward would emphasize this simple truth: humans are patient. Humans are polite, but humans also act with clarity and precision when pushed too far. The galaxy would never forget the day they witnessed it for the first time, and the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. The memory of Captain Monroe, standing calm and polite in the council chamber, lingered in every mind. A quiet reminder that even in the vast expanse of the stars, one species could be peaceful, precise, and unstoppable all at once. And so the humans returned home, their polite mode turned off for a brief moment, but their true nature revealed, strong, determined, and ready for anything the galaxy might throw at them. The council and every observer had learned a vital lesson. Humanity's patience is a gift, but it is not infinite. And when that patience ends, the galaxy sees not anger but unstoppable reso.